Today, we are going to find out what would happen if Mr. Beast, arguably the most famous YouTuber in the world, owned a football club. So we are putting Mr. Beast as the owner of Wheelstone, projected to finish 23rd in the Vanarama National League. And if we look at their staff, here we see Mr. Beast as their chairperson. And we are going to put Mr. Beast's entire net worth into this football club. Mr. Beast has an estimated net worth of about $500 million, which equates to about 412 million pounds. So we are going to give Wheelstone a 412 million pound bank balance. In addition, Mr. Beast is estimated to bring in $54 million a year in YouTube earnings. So we are going to add that to the game as well. So in the form of an individual TV deal, every year Wheelstone will be bringing in that amount of money in dollars, or about 45 million pounds a year. So with Mr. Beast at the helm, putting in massive amounts of money into their bank balance and a huge individual TV deal, we should see Wheelstone fly up the English divisions to the English Premier League. But in classic Mr. Beast fashion, we can't just have an expensive owner. We also need a £1 owner. And we're going to compare what would happen. But do I know anyone who doesn't really have a net worth? Let me think about that. So I've given Maidstone, who's projected to finish one place higher than Mr. Beast's club, myself as the owner and chairperson of this club. And I'll essentially be putting my net worth into Maidstone to see how they would do with me as their club owner. So here we go, looking at Maidstone, we are going to destroy their bank balance at just £1 now. And looking at their income, we are going to remove all of this income from Maidstone. So now they truly have me as their club owner. So that's it. This is the $1 versus $500 million football club owner challenge. And we're going to play until one of these teams makes the English Premier League, assuming, of course, that Wheelstone eventually makes the Premier League. So let's start off. Let's go 5 years into the future to 2027 and see how Maidstone and Wheelstone are doing. See you in 5 seasons. So 5 seasons into the future, Mr. Beast still at the helm, Wheelstone are actually worse off. Amazingly, they got relegated from the Vanarama National League. They did get promoted back again, but they are back in the Vanarama National League South. So even despite all of that money, which let's go look and see how much is left, there's still huge amounts of money left. Actually, they have, what is that, 508 million pounds. They actually have more money than they previously had. They still have that huge individual TV deal. However, Wheelstone are actually worse off than they were at the beginning of the save. This is surprising. And even more surprisingly, Maidstone are still in the Vanarama National League. And they've stayed there. They've become a middling Vanarama National League side. I assume they've made some money at this point by being in the Vanarama National League. They're actually in debt. They're worse off with that £1 that they had. I mean, obviously, they got to pay transfers and wages and stuff, so they're worse off. But somehow, despite all of that money, Mr. Beast's Wheelstone are actually doing worse than my Maidstone. This is nuts. Looking through the transfers, unsurprisingly, Maidstone's transfers have all been pretty cheap, nothing above 20K, which I guess for a club with £1 is still a lot. But overall, it seems like as far as the transfers in and transfers out are concerned, they've been pretty equal and pretty low. Wheelstone, on the other hand, perhaps more surprisingly, despite all that money, actually look like they have potentially spent less than Maidstone. The only place where we're seeing is maybe the last 2 seasons with 125,000, but even still, most of the fees coming in loan fees, and they did get quite a bit on the transfers out section. And the most previous season, 165,000. Again, mostly coming through loan fees, but I think I might have seen a couple players here who they spent some decent money on. So maybe it's taken them 5 seasons to start spending some of that money. We're going to see then if Again, they have 508 million pounds in the bank. Certainly, Wealdstone are going to spend that money and work their way up the English football divisions. So it's essentially taken 5 seasons, and if anything, Wealdstone's a little bit worse and not much has really happened. Let's go a little bit further into the future. Let's go 10 seasons to 2037 and see how both clubs are doing at that point in time. Well, honestly, Maidstone in 2037 isn't really any different. They are still in the Vanarama National League, and they have been in the Vanarama National League for this entire simulation. Let's look and see how their finances are doing. If we go to their club details, they're still in debt. They aren't in as much debt, but obviously they don't have a transfer budget. They're just working with a wage budget. I guess this is kind of a realistic simulation for what a normal Vanarama National League club would look like. Just staying in the division, accruing a little bit of debt, and being kind of a mid-table Vanarama National League side. But certainly, right, in 2037, Wealdstone must be doing better. This is amazing. Wealdstone are still in the Vanarama, first in the Vanarama National League South, which I assume this means they got promoted. How on earth are they not higher up the divisions? Do they still have all that money? They look at all the money they have. What is that? 784 million pounds. They're bringing in so much money. Why aren't they spending it? Mr. Beast is so willing to spend money. Why aren't they spending this money? Where is it going? Looking at their transfers here, they're not spending that much. Are they spending a lot on wages? They're not even. Oh my God. Okay, so the money's going to wages. Why are they spending 62,000 pounds on this guy? Is he any good? Okay, for this level, he's good, but what is happening? So they put all the money into wages as opposed to transfers. And honestly, the players that they're signing are okay. Like they're decent for this level. Maybe they should be doing, certainly for the money they're spending, they should be doing better. This is nuts. We're 15 years into the future, and we've given Wealdstone $500 million. They have over 700 million pounds now. And they're still a Vanarama National League South side. This is insane. So again, 15 years into the future, despite all of the money given to Wealdstone, Maidstone is actually doing better. They've been consistently a Vanarama National League side. Somehow, my 1 pound of money is doing better than Mr. Beast's $500 million. This is crazy. I think we go 10 years. We're playing until somebody makes the English Premier Division. Let's go 10 years into the future again. Surely at this point, one of these clubs isn't in the Vanarama National League or in the Vanarama National League South. So in 2047, 25 years into the future, Maidstone are still a Vanarama National League South side. Actually, they did get promoted to League Two, were relegated the next year, and also have been in the Vanarama National League North before again being in the Vanarama National League. But despite those ups and downs, they are still just a middling Vanarama National League side. Let's look at the club details and look at the finances. And actually, they're in the positive bank balance now, and actually have some decent 885,000. A decent transfer budget and a wage budget. You know what? They're not doing bad. And the facilities still aren't great. But overall, I think Maidstone are surviving. They're just kind of a regular team again, just a regular Vanarama National League team. But looking at Wealdstone, we are finally seeing that money pay off. After being in the Vanarama National League South. They made it back to the Vanarama National League, and since then, look at that. They've just been steadily improving. It looks like they got promoted through the playoffs, then they were in League Two for 3 seasons, promoted to the playoffs, and now they are in League One. And look at that steady upward climb. That is exactly what we wanted to see from Wealdstone. Let's look at their finances. Surely they still have, I mean, they have even more. They've been making so much money. £883 million in the bank balance. And they've improved their facilities, but I mean, they could be getting their facilities to like state of the art facilities at this point. Surely Wealdstone are going to continue moving up the English football leagues, and they're spending much better amounts of money, at least what we're expecting. £9 million there, 5.75, 1.2. Okay. So they were spending a lot of money in more recent seasons, potentially as they work their way up towards the championship in English Premier Division. But this is what we want to see, them spending more in the millions of pounds. Let's look at those play and the player wages are huge. It is absolutely no surprise that they're going up through the football leagues because these are huge player wages. Although they don't look like a much better side. They look a little bit better, but they don't look like a significantly better side than the one we saw previously. Maybe but they are a deeper side. I mean, looking through it, they're definitely a deeper side. Let's look at their important players. You know what? This guy looks really good for the division. Yeah, they're a much deeper side, so they have improved. Let's compare those wages to those at Maidstone. And if we look at their senior squad, yeah, I mean, it's a significantly different wages and things like that. So Wealdstone are finally working their way up. The question at this point now is how long will it take them to get to the English Premier Division? I'm sure Maidstone will continue being a Vanarama National League side. Let's go 10 years into the future and let's see if at that point Wealdstone have done it. Welcome back. We actually didn't need to go that far into the future. We are in 19th June 2055, and Wealdstone have been promoted to the English Premier Division. They have defeated on penalties Southampton in the Sky Bet Championship playoff final. Welcome, Wealdstone, to the English Premier Division. And look at that steady upward graph. They have continued to rise up through the Football League. We last saw them in League One, actually. They were promoted as champions to get into the English Championship. And after kind of mid-table seasons in the Sky Bet Championship, they have gone up through the playoffs. Wealdstone have made the Premier League. It only took until the 2055 season, but they are finally here. They still have a huge bank balance, a £715 million bank balance. I'm sure if we kept going, we would see them continue to do well because that's a huge bank balance. Looking at their facilities that we are probably much more expecting to see, great training facilities and youth facilities, decent junior coaching and youth recruitment, but that will only continue to increase while they are in the English Premier Division. And obviously now they have that huge bank balance. They still have that huge income, but now they're going to be getting English Premier Division income on top of that 45 million pound individual TV deal. Wealdstone are now an English Premier Division club. It took a while. It took a while for them to get going. It took like 15 seasons for them to get going, but they are finally in the English Premier Division. And in contrast, Maidstone continue to be a Vanarama National League side, actually doing pretty well in the last few seasons, finishing second and third, but then dropping down to sixth. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to get promoted again into League Two. But you know what? One promotion up to League Two for Maidstone. They did get relegated again, but as far as that, they have been consistently a Vanarama National League side. So overall, I think it's been pretty decent from Maidstone. I was also curious to see what Wealdstone's transfer histories look like. And yeah, they spent quite a bit of money, £48.5 million on Mohamed Lafon, who looks like maybe middling English Premier Division player. But they're spending the money now. They spent what they needed to, looking £52 million there, 37.5 million, 15.5 million there, 25 million there. They're spending what they needed to get into the English Premier Division. So that's it. That was the $1 versus $500 million football club owner challenge. Mr. Beast Wealdstone. It took a while for them to get going, but once they started rising up the football league, they eventually made their way up to the English Premier Division. But you know what? My Maidstone, didn't do that bad. We stayed, despite just having £1 at the beginning. We did all right. We stayed, for the most part, a Vanarama National League side throughout the save. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all next time. Bye!